Welcome back to PJ Chen Design. This is PJ. I saw this kind of twisting form is really interesting, and I was thinking about how am I going to apply it into the jewelry design. So I studied the form, and it's actually harder than I thought. So I would like to share with you the process, and hopefully that can help you on your jewelry CAD design. Are you ready? Let's get started. Before we started, I would like to talk about the structure of this one. Basically, you have to have the same one. So in this case, you just need to make half. But the key is make sure this connection is seamless, so you don't have a bump there. So we need to keep this part as straight as possible. So that's one thing. So let me hiding this one. After that, you're making the shape on this basic shape, and then we also need this decoration on the top, and they need to be evenly out. And I basically just pipe it, but you can using a triangle or whatever shape to make different type of a shape, right? So that's how we're going to start it. So I'm going to hide this one, and we're going to start it from scratch. All right, so I don't intend to print this out and just talking about the shape, so you can do whatever size that you want. But if you're going to print it out, make sure that you are working on the size of your printing size. So I basically want to draw an arc first, and I want to draw another arc snapping into the 0 the same, and I want to basically, this is deciding how big that hole is going to be. All right, and then it can be any size that you like. All right, now one thing that I find out, if I'm creating the surface in between those two, so for example, and I'm going to loft in between here and hit enter, and if I'm going to bend this one, so I'm going to use the bend command, and I'm going to bend this guy, and from my side view I'm gonna snap in here into here, and I bend this one, right? So no problem like that, but the problem is this is no longer a straight line. As you can see, this is kind of a curve in there, and I'm very particular. I want them to be straight, and plus we need to keep this part as flat as possible. Now this is curve up, so if you later on, let's say we wanted to making a duplication by rotate it to the bottom. So as you can see, this two, it doesn't connect because you have one going up, one going down. So where the connection is not gonna work. So we need to make sure they are straight. So in this case, we cannot make them into the surface first because you bend the edge of the surface. So what we can do is only dealing with the curve. All right. So to make sure that it will work, I need to make sure that when I bend, I don't bend in this section right here. I only bend from this point up. So I'm going to use the bend command one more time. And we are going to bend in between here to here. And again, I'm gonna come into the right view to show how much I wanted to bend it up. And you might need to try a few times to get the result. All right, so now we got this bend, and see if we like it. And notice that it looks like it's some sort of a kinking there. So if you like this one, we can work on this, but one thing you wanted to do is to rebuild them, so they are more like an even curve. So I'm going to rebuild them into the 12 count. Make sure that you uncheck the sub D, otherwise they're gonna turn it into a sub D curve. And then we want to click OK. If you are super particular, like this need to be the same like this one, what we can also do is to have this one to be scale smaller and making a copy, and we wanted to have all of them aligned to the left to this point. So that will work too if you are really particular how they are going to be arranged. So I like the first one better. I'm going to keep like that. And how we're gonna make the edges straight is we are going to draw a straight line in between here and here, and in between here and here. All right, and sometimes you don't need to have it at the end, but I always like to have it at the end so I have more control for this surface. Now let's go to use the surface. You have a sweep to command. You got rail 1, rail 2, cross section 1 and 2, and you hit enter, and you can see fit it beautifully. Okay, so now we have this shape that's making a let's do a test. We're going to rotate it with this guy and rotate it to the bottom and see if they are the shape that you're looking for. All right, so if they are beautiful, we can delete this one and let's go back with here. Now, as you can see, we do have those ISO curves that we can extract, but if you extract, you kind of notice they are not even. They are not in the even distant. So if you just extract the ISO curve, and they won't be pretty. So what I wanted to do is I want to pick up this one, and depends on how many decoration, how many pieces that you like to have. And for this demonstration, I'm just going to divide them. Let me try 24 and hit enter, and you're going to see it's 24 dot over there. Okay, those 24 dot is evenly divided this curve into 24 section, and in fact it's 25 dot. All right, so what we wanted to do is to go into the curve. You have the curve from the object, and you can extract the ISO curve. It's going to ask you which surface you want to extract. We're going to pick up this one, and notice that it's not the right direction. So we're going to come in to the top. You have this toggle there, and now they are in right direction. Okay, so now make sure that on the bottom, the point is checked. So we're going to click on every single point. And yes, the more point that you have, the more click you're going to have. Unfortunately, I do not find a really quick way to do this, but just few click, then we'll get into that. All right, maybe I want to have one over here as well. Okay, so I have all those lines and I hit enter. All right, do not click on anything yet because we have this already being picked up. You don't have to pick it up individually. And then I like to do, it's going to use the pipe command, and I'm gonna pipe it somewhere about 0.35 in radius, and let's see how it look. All right, so now we have this one, and see if you like it or not. And you can also add another pipe there to cover all the ends, so it will be smoother if you wanted to do. So it's just an experiment to show you how you get this shape. Now, how we gonna get this into the solid? We could offset the surface. And with the offset the surface, I want to actually offset on both sides. And the radius on this pipe, it was 0.35. So I don't want to get bigger than that because all my piping will be gone. So the distance, I'm going to try just 0.15 and hit enter. And then I will have a solid on both sides. All right, if you like them, make sure that you pick up all of them and not the very last one, because that will be repeated. Let's go ahead to group them. And at the front view, we want to use the rotate. Make sure the copy right here is equal yes here on the top. And I want to snapping into the 0 and turn it on 180 degree. So then we will get this beautiful shape. I hope you find this process is inspirational for your 3D modeling or for your jewelry CAD design. Leave in the comment below, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next.